Welcome to another episode of the brand called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome an expert in managing wealth from Los Angeles, USA, Mr. Daniel Alonzo. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you? I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Daniel is the Chief Executive Officer of Alonzo Academy, and he's the host of the Wealth on the Beach podcast. His mission is to inspire people to take control of their money, mindset, and future, and he's the author of multiple books. So, Daniel, my first question, you spent 30 years helping families and entrepreneurs build wealth. What inspired you to start on this journey?
Well, it all started by me hurting my leg in officiating basketball class
Wow.
in college. So I
Hmm.
was, going to college to play baseball,
Hmm.
and one of the classes that I took was this basketball class, and of course, I went up for a layup and came down and crunched my knee real bad. So it ruined my baseball career. And I had to ask myself, why am I going to college? And I always hated school, by the way. I was
Hmm.
never a good student, never enjoyed, the confinement of a classroom. So I quit college. So I finished out the baseball season, limping around, and I came back home, and I pretty much felt like an absolute loser. My life was
Hmm.
going nowhere, and I was struggling mentally, financially, and I just remember one night laying awake. I couldn't sleep, and I'm thinking, man, there's got to be more to life. There's got to be a better story for me, because
Hmm.
I always felt like in my gut, like I wanted to do something great with my life, but
Yeah.
just the opportunity never happened. And so, anyways, it happened all by chance. My buddy told me, "Hey, man, you should check out this business, financial services, investments, insurance, things like that. You should check it out." And I checked it out, and the rest is history. 30 years later.
Amazing, amazing. And was there a pivotal decision or a moment that shaped your entire career and your success?
I think that was the pivotal moment for me to change my life. But as far as the pivotal moment in business, while I was
Mm,
already there, was kind of when I started figuring out how my brain worked,
mm,
and started to understand that the things that were holding me back were all of my limiting beliefs.
yeah.
So I had a really successful family member. She was in real estate, and I went to talk to her one day, and I said, "Hey, I really, need your help, and should I do this business? Can I make it? Can I succeed?" And the first thing she did, she believed in me. She said, "You could do this. You could do this." But then she took me to an Anthony Robbins seminar.
Mm,
And so as I sat in the front row, because she was actually in one of his infomercials back in the 1990s, if you
hmm.
remember infomercials,
Yeah, yeah.
so we sat in the front row of this incredible experience, and I started to figure out that my brain was making me do a lot of the things that I was doing, the
Mm.
bad things. I was a bad kid growing up. I didn't get good grades. Like I said, hated school, got in a lot of trouble, got in a lot of fights. And I started to figure out that I could change that if I just altered my thoughts.
How amazing. Thank you for sharing this. Daniel, your mission is to inspire people to take control of their money, mindset, and future. Why do you believe most people struggle with money despite working hard their entire lives?
Because they buy stupid shit that they shouldn't be buying. So the bottom line is most people are horrendous when it comes to money. I mean, let's be honest.
Hmm.
People don't have any money management. They spend more time figuring out where they're going on vacation
Hmm.
than they ever do trying to figure out their financial
Hmm.
situation. And
Hmm.
so early on for me, I started to manage my money. I've had an American Express card for almost 30 years now,
Hmm.
so I could track my expenses. I also have been using Quicken for over 30 years to
Wow.
track my expenses. I
Hmm.
made sure that, I looked at my finances and I ran my finances just like a corporation would
Hmm.
run their finances.
Hmm.
And I took charge of that. And the truth is, I mean, I was making 300,000. I mean, fairly quickly, I started making a lot of money. I was making
Yeah.
$300,000 a year. I was
Wow.
still driving a $10,000 beat up car
Hmm.
because I wanted to be financially independent by the time I was 30. That was
Hmm.
my absolute goal. And so people just make mistakes because they just buy things that they shouldn't be buying and they have no financial education.
Yeah. Yeah. Great response. You also talk about building lasting wealth. What does lasting really mean in today's world?
I think it's for me, it's generational. I mean, I do have two kids. I have a son, my son Max. He's actually in business with me. He's 23 years old. My daughter is 19. She's
Hmm.
in college right now. And before they were born, I was thinking about my kids. I was thinking about how I was going to play with them and
Hmm.
how I was going to take them on great vacations and we were going to travel the world and I was going to get up every day and wake them up out of bed and take them to school and
Hmm.
and pick them up after school and
Yeah.
I'd always I was probably some people think I'm a bad parent, but I used to make them ditch school all the time. And that means I used to take them out of school
Hmm.
all the time so that we could go on fun adventures and we
Yeah.
can, even if it was just a picnic or let's go to the park or let's go to the movies or let's go to the fair or whatever. I was always trying to create experiences with my kids. And so,
Hmm.
uh, I want to build, I've always wanted to build lasting wealth. I've always wanted to create generational wealth. I wanted to leave a legacy
Yeah.
that my kids, they would never have to really. Now I want them to work hard and I make my son, he's going to work his way up through the
Sure.
system,
Sure.
but I also want to make sure that after all said and done that they have so much wealth and we've built so much wealth that they never will really have to worry about money
Hmm.
ever again.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Do you think financial freedom looks different for entrepreneurs as compared to salaried professionals?
Well, I mean, I think that most entrepreneurs, they realize that it's a lot more work, especially in the beginning.
Hmm.
The work. So I always tell people that you get paid less than your worth in the beginning, but then at the end you get paid more than what you're worth.
Hmm.
And that's the story of my life. I tell people, look, chase the winning and one day the money is going to chase you. So
Right.
go build a successful business,
Hmm.
work really hard for the first 5, 10 years, or
Hmm.
however long it takes to create financial freedom. And that might mean different things to different people. For me, it was always like in that first 5 years for me, it was $1 million. I wanted $1 million saved because I used to think that if I had $1 million and I could just get a 10% rate of return on that money, that would generate $100,000 in passive income for me. And, I,
Hmm.
and I'd be free at that point.
Hmm.
So my situation was a little bit better. I mean, I saved $1 million by the time I was 28 years old, which is great.
Hmm.
But I also had a $500,000 in passive income coming in through
Hmm.
my business. So
Hmm.
you build a business that creates passive income. That's a great place to be. But then you got to know what to do with your money once you start making the money. So that's what I did. And that's how I saved $1 million.
Amazing. Amazing. I love this concept of passive income. Thank you. Daniel, what role does discipline play in wealth creation compared to luck or opportunity?
Yeah, I think that the discipline is a non-negotiable item. But I also do believe. I mean, I do believe luck does play
Hmm.
a certain. It plays a part for sure
Hmm.
in creating success in your life. I mean, the truth is, I was at the right place at the right time when that guy told me, "Hey, let's check out this business."
Yeah.
That would have never happened. I mean, it's so crazy because my parents got divorced when I was younger, and my mom ended up moving into a little apartment with me and my brother. So it was just three of us, single mom raising us. And then she ended up marrying my stepfather. And then we ended up moving to a decent neighborhood. And he had a college education, and he was, he was making good money. And he taught me a lot of things, but he put me in a better neighborhood. He put me in a better environment.
Hmm.
And because of that, I mean, so I don't know that most people would say, oh, it was lucky that your parents got divorced. But the truth is, it was
Hmm.
luck that my
Hmm.
parents got divorced. And it was luck that my mom happened to be working at a grocery store where he was the manager, and they met and fell in love. But the truth is, that, even in business, I was taking a course, and I sat right next to this lady. I mean, I could have sat next to anybody. And I sat
Hmm.
next to this lady, and I ended up recruiting her, and her boyfriend ended up becoming one of the most essential people in my business to help me build a world-class financial services company. And
Hmm.
through that couple, I ended up recruiting, hundreds, if not thousands of people in my organization because of that chance meeting. And so now, once I met the people, I
Hmm.
had to have the discipline
Yeah.
to do the things necessary to be able to keep them there, to be able to lead them, to be able to, sell them, to be able to,
Hmm.
inspire them, to be able to do all, the consistency, the work ethic, the focus, the discipline. Those are all the things that ultimately solidified the luck that was, that came to my life.
What a great response. Thank you. Daniel, you also say wealth is about mindset. What limiting beliefs about money do you see in a lot of other people, and how can they overcome this mindset?
Well, I think that people walk around saying they can't afford things all the time.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, how can I afford something? They say, I just can't afford it.
Mm,
That'll never happen to me. I'll never be that person. I'll never, have that kind of money. I'll never live in that house on the hill. I'll never
mm,
drive that sports car. I'll never, so it's, those type of, that type of thinking, that type of, mental weakness, I mean, permeates through so many people in
mm.
the world today. And I really feel sorry for them, because I feel like if they would just decide that we all put on our pants the same way,
Mm.
every one of us. Now, I'm not saying you're going to make $1 million
Yeah.
tomorrow. I'm not saying
Mm.
it's going to be easy. I'm not saying
No.
that, you look, it might take you a long time to get lucky. I mean,
Mm.
it took me hundreds and hundreds of recruits before I found that superstar recruit. But guess what? I could have quit at my seventh recruit,
Correct.
and I never would have gotten that lucky chance to meet this great recruit that I met. And so, I mean, people are walking around with such, sorry thoughts about life,
Mm.
about opportunity, about the world. I mean, I think we live, I mean, this. I mean, we live in the greatest times in human history. I mean, look
Yeah.
at us. It's like the Jetsons, right? We're having a conversation
Correct.
over the internet. Can you imagine?
Absolutely.
You're in India right now.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Yeah.
is just unbelievable, right? And we
Absolutely.
can do this today because of the times that we live in. So, opportunity, in my opinion, has never been better.
I agree. Completely agree with you. And it's interesting you talk of the Jetsons. It took me back 35, 40 years. Thank you. Uh,
Right.
Daniel, many people let fear stop them from pursuing financial opportunities. What advice would you give people to overcome fear?
Yeah, I mean, fear is, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if you're in war right now, if you're getting shot at, if somebody's trying to blow you up, I mean, that's scary.
Hmm.
That's real fear.
Yeah.
And so I think we have to, look at fear as uh, being, is it real? Like, to
Hmm.
kind of think about it, is the fear that I'm feeling right now, is it real, or
Mm.
is it imagined?
Mm.
And so I'm always checking myself and asking myself, is this real fear or is it fake fear? Is it
Mm.
made up in my own mind?
Yeah.
Am I overthinking things again?
Mm.
Am I worrying about stuff that, let's be honest, probably is never going to come to fruition. So
Mm.
why am I overthinking this situation? And again, that's why we overthink, by the way, and we all have it. I mean, it's a normal human response. But when we feel that fear, we got to ask ourselves, is it real or is it fake? And if it's fake, we just need to, as I always say, we need to have that do it now mindset and just say, you know what, do it now.
Mm.
Just do it.
Mm. Amazing. How does someone create a wealth mindset, even if they are starting from a place of debt or struggle?
Yeah, it's hard. It's not easy because when you're struggling, all you can think about is a struggle. But like I wrote in my first book, Wealth on the Beach,
Mm.
11 laws to building financial freedom.
Mm.
I talked about the law of attraction, or we could call it quantum physics. It's just all we are is energy.
Mm.
And so everything we're doing is either helping us propel to the future or just holding us back. And we are
Mm.
making, by the way, we're making those decisions. We're deciding our life by our thoughts. Thoughts are things.
Mm.
It's like matter. They're real things. And so the good thoughts in my mind are creating good frequencies that are creating good things in my life. The bad thoughts are also creating frequencies, and they're also repelling things from me. They're pushing things away from my life. And
Mm.
so, look, I think I am are the two most powerful words in the English language.
Correct.
And so instead of always talking about what you can't do, just say, I am this.
Mm.
I am wealthy. I am successful. I am meeting the right people that are going to help
Mm.
change my life. I am building the knowledge that is going to help me become everything that I've always desired in my life to become.
Mm.
And so, it's just a decision that we make that that allows the universe to give us everything that we desire.
Mm. Amazing. You just mentioned that you've created this, you wrote a book, Wealth on the Beach, but you've also launched a Wealth on the Beach Club. What
Yes.
makes this coaching group unique?
Well, first of all, I think it's unique because it's only $100 a month. It's
Mhm.
$99 a month. That's
Mm.
unique, number one. I don't do it because I'm trying to get wealthy. I don't do it because it's helping me become rich. I already made my wealth in my business. And by the way,
Mm.
my business still creates massive passive income for me and my family. And so, and I also, of course, have created an abundance of investment opportunities as well, properties and stocks and options and bonds and you name it.
Mhm.
Uh, so I do it, and I think this is what separates me from most people. I do it because I really want to make a difference. And
Mm.
whereas there's a lot of people that their coaching programs is what fuels their daily living,
Mm.
pays their mortgage. Doesn't pay my mortgage. That's not my
Yeah.
focus. My
Mm.
only focus is to try to help people. Even the books that I've written. The only reason why I am writing books, and I'm going to write 100, by the way, I will write
Mhm.
under the brand Wealth on the Beach, by the way,
Mm.
because
Mm.
my first book was Wealth on the Beach. Second book was Wealth on the Beach for Teens. And my last book was Wealth on the Beach, Why Most Life Insurance is a Scam and
Mm.
How to Get It Right. And so I'm going to write 100 books under that brand.
Wow.
And they're going to be anywhere from relational to I'm going to write Wealth on the Beach for grandmas, Wealth on the Beach for grandpas. I'm going
Mm.
to Wealth on the Beach for dogs. I mean, you
Mm.
name it. I'm going to
Mm.
write Wealth on the Beach on every subject that
Amazing.
that
Yeah.
is close to my heart. And I'm doing that because I really feel like, I've been hanging around the earth for 50 years now. I've experienced almost every relationship. I've experienced every type of friendship. I've experienced just about every type of money situation. And I think I want to share that with the world.
Amazing. Then we'll have time for two more questions. How can people begin to take control of their future instead of letting circumstances control them?
Well, I mean, look, like I said before, I mean, it's a decision. We get up every single day and we get to decide what we want to become and who we want to become. Look, this is the challenge, is that it's just, look, especially in the society that we're living in today, everybody wants it microwave style. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Everybody wants fast money, man. How can I get rich tomorrow? And it's funny because I watched some guy talk about, most people don't even make $100,000 a year. Everybody on Instagram looks like they make millions of dollars every year, and they look like they're so successful and they make so much money. And the truth is, most people on planet Earth don't even make $100,000 a year.
Correct.
So like, number one, don't be so hard on yourself. If you're not where you want to be right now, that's okay. It takes time.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be microwave style. Yeah. It's going to be you putting one foot in front of the other and putting in so much activity, so much, work, so much focus, so much discipline, so much consistency that it's going to be almost impossible for you to fail. Like every time I would fail, every time something didn't work out, I would always ask myself, did I work hard enough? Was I focused enough? I mean, whose fault was it?
Yeah.
Was it somebody else's fault or was it my fault? And, just about 99.999% of the time, guess whose fault it was? It was my fault.
Yeah.
But it was my ability to not be a victim that allowed me to become who I am today. So I didn't sit around and mope. I didn't sit around and cry. I said, I picked myself up. I dusted myself off and I said, I'm going to go try again. And I'm going to try again. And by the way, I don't care what you think about me. I don't care that you think I'm stupid or I said the wrong thing or I made you mad or I offended you or what. I don't care about it. What I care about is I'm going to get up and play my game. I have the game plan because my mentors and my coaches all taught me the game plan. I'm going to work my game plan until the job gets done, and nothing or nobody is going to stop me. As long as it's legal, ethical, and moral, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it until I win.
Amazing. But on that note, Daniel, I just want to say what an amazing conversation this has been. I'm sure my viewers and listeners and me, of course, have taken some really incredible pointers from you. It's been an amazing 101 on how to manage wealth, how not to be scared of taking the right steps. But most importantly, what you said is your mindset has to be right. If your mindset is right, no matter where you are on the financial scale and your aspirations you have defined for yourself, you will get there. Because, as you said very correctly, the two powerful words of I am is an important factor. Thank you again for speaking to me, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here with you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.